Samantha Cox. Number 4, Marie Frazier. Number 7, Jacqueline Whitman. Number 8, Chris Phelan. Number 11, Lillian Gerard Epsaw. Number 13, Amelia Misland. Number 19, Lauren Willow. And number 21, Natalie Anderson. And now the starting lineup for the Tigers. A junior center, number 2, Sydney Neff. A sophomore middle blocker, number 3, Lynn Bernard. A junior libero, number 14, Haley Blix. A sophomore, number 15, Kat Bento. A junior outside, number 18, Jessica Klein. A graduate middle, number 22, Kalisa Gasper. And a sophomore outside, number 23, Corey Beal. Head coach is Jim Lotus. And now, the non-starting lineup for your home team, the Ithaca College Bombers. Number 1, Grace Isaacson. Number 2, Karina Garcia. Number 5, Kim O'Leary. Number 7, Josie Hampton. Number 8, Bridget Altland. Number 9, Sammy Clem. Number 14, Maddie Cox. Number 15, Jenny Pitts. Number 7, Alex Montgomery. Number 19, Amanda Zweifler. And number 21, Ella Raper. And now, let's go down to the Bombers. A junior middle from Tampa, Florida. Number 3, Jamie Koopman. A graduate defensive specialist from Elkhart, Indiana. Number 6, Ellie Gaskill. A sophomore center from Petoskey, Michigan. Number 10, Peyton Miller. A first-year opposite from Arizona. Number 11, Layla Chicago. A sophomore middle from Houston, Texas. Number 12, Alaka Taco. This coming libero is a junior from Altoona, New York. Number 18, Julia Costa. And the final starter is an outside hitter from the Woodlands, Texas. Number 23, Baby Samartier. Head coach in his 7th season is Johan Dolfer. He's assisted by Marley Zuckert and Sarah Smith. Fans, the national anthem was played prior to the first semifinals match. So let's play ball.
Good evening and welcome to the Ithaca College Athletic Stream. It is time for semifinal number 2 of the Liberty League tournament this weekend between the Ithaca Bombers and RIT Tigers. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. Along Dane Richardson, I'm Jeremy Goldstein. Clarkson over Union in Game 1. They advance to the final tomorrow afternoon. Ithaca and RIT for the second time this season will match up here at Ben Light for a chance to face them. What are some key notes you want to add on to the broadcast early on?
Well, if you're RIT, you got to come out hot early. Listen, this is a team that stomped you in Ben Light Gymnasium back, I believe, a couple months ago. So if they want to come out early, they need to get that momentum right away in the first set. As for Ithaca, this should be business as usual. They're as healthy as they've been really all season long. So on paper, the Bombers should really take care of business and handle this one easily.
Ithaca all season just dropped 2 sets to Liberty League opponents. Both of those came in Geneva against William Smith. William Smith no longer in the tournament after losing to Union back on Tuesday in Geneva. RIT defeated Vassar in 3 sets on Tuesday to come here. For the first time in quite a while as well, Ithaca's fully healthy. Faith Sabatier available. Peyton Miller will be the starting center, but Maddie Cox is available to play. Miller has played a sensational setter, though, over the last couple of weeks. She's vital to the success tonight.
100%. You could either go with Peyton Miller or Maddie Cox, and they're 2 different types of setters, and Johan Dolfer has talked about that just a little bit, but they're both exceptional. They're great at what they do. Miller gets the call so far. She's been the hot hand lately. I expect a fantastic performance from her tonight.
A face we haven't seen it on RIT, Corey Beal. 91 digs as a defensive specialist, a sophomore. She's playing for the first time after being absent the last time these 2 teams played. Costa one-hand dig, but goes out of bounds. RIT takes a 1-point lead to start.
Solid swing right there on the outside from RIT, and some miscommunication there near the 10-foot line between Costa and Sabatier, leaving her libero to go get it. Costa was a little late.
Haley Blix, the RIT libero, 72 aces on the season. She sends one over there. Layla Chapepo on the swing. Sydney Neff finds the middle. Kat Vento was denied. Miller dives to the sideline, saves it. Free ball from Costa. Neff, long one for Bernard. Denied by Chapepo. Ball still in play. The dump by Neff. Miller saves it. Costa bumps at Chapepo. Nowhere to be found on that one. It's 2-0 Tigers.
RIT's doing a nice job early on at the net. Not the best bump set there from Costa. A little tight there for Chapepo.
RIT again was swept the last time these two teams played. A near ace, good save by Gaskill, long swing, Sabatier. Neff, Bernard again, too strong, Bombers on the board.
I know it's just 1 point, Jeremy, but those unforced errors, RIT has to force Ithaca to make a play, force them to make mistakes. You can't make them yourself.
Costa, another back set from Neff. Here's Vento out of bounds. It's the second attack error in a row for RIT. We're tied at 2.
You know, the set was there, the space was there, just couldn't put it away.
Cross court can be difficult, I feel like, especially early in the game for a lot of these outsides. RIT relies on their middles more than other teams usually do. Long swing, Bernard, Miller, high set, Darko, Beal launches one into the stands, and Ithaca's had 3 straight.
Darko has an innate ability at hanging in the air. A pretty one set right there by Miller, and Costa taking advantage right there as the libero. Ithaca leads.
You said it constantly on this stream. Her vertical is unmatched. Another long bump set from Neff. Bernard, another attempt. Miller will set one back. Bump set Costa. Chapepo again. Great block by Vento in the middle. And RIT's retied the score.
Set was a little inside there for Chapepo, so it was going to be really hard for her to go down the line on that set. And Vento, like you mentioned, closed the block beautifully. No space to go in between that.
Perfect timing on the jump. Neff now to serve. Sabatier. It'll be a service ace. So Sydney Neff making her mark on this one with an early ace, and RIT gains the lead back. Good retrieval by Costa. Miller, near overpass, Chapepo. RIT there to respond well. Klein sent it into the net, but it will be a net violation on the Bombers, it appears, Dane. 5-3 RIT.
And what Darko did, she didn't touch the net. That was still going to land on our RIT side, so she reached over, point to the Tigers.
Hard one for Costa. She keeps it alive. Chapepo long swing off the chest of Neff. She almost caught the ball. Ithaca's back within 1.
If you're Sydney Neff, you got to be frustrated at that one because Chapepo hit it outside the block, but Neff had a clear lane to see that ball. Clear vision. She wasn't blocked by her own blocker. She just missed the dig.
Grace Isaacson inserted for the first time into this one. Had 6 consecutive service aces the last time the Bombers were home. The swing from Mislin that time. Bernard off the tip of Isaacson, and RIT keeps their lead 6-4.
It's always tricky playing down that line. A tough play there for Grace Isaacson. You have to battle between wanting to play short and going for the tip, which she did. Came back to bite her on the nice swing away.
Liv Bernard, 425 kills entering play tonight. That leads the team. She's serving now 42 aces to 37 errors. Lunging stop Costa. Sabatier, high bump set, a free ball sent by Isaacson. Vento, Neff will send a long set for Bernard. No one there. It dropped in the middle of the floor. All Tigers so far, 7-4.
You have 3 fantastic defensive players in the back row for Ithaca, but as of right now, they look very flat early on. Not sure who had that left seam off that serve from Gaskill or Costa.
Gaskill on serve receive. Sabatier, her first swing in a little bit, had it blocked. Costa back for Faith Sabatier. Good way to keep it alive that time after the initial block. The cross-court swing goes out of bounds. And RIT with an 8-4 advantage. RIT, the last time these two teams played, didn't have a lead as large as 4. They have one right out of the gate.
Picture perfect start. Let's see if RIT can keep it going.
Another serve from Bernard. Miller there. That was Gaskill. Sabatier again. Blocked by Vento. Timeout, Bombers. This is not what we expected coming out of the gate, but RIT's been dominant, largely due to Kat Vento, who did not play all that much the first time these two teams faced off.
And the reason why Vento's taking advantage, I'm going to go all the way back to the 2 sets Ithaca lost against William Smith in Liberty League play. William Smith played out of their minds in that game, yes. But Coach Stolfer told us after that match that his team didn't pass well in those 2 sets, and it's coming down to passing off the serve, right? Those last 2 swings by Faith Sabatier, she kept having to move closer and closer toward the middle, going cross court or ripped it out of bounds. That one, she was a little bit off the net, easier to time for a middle like Kat Vento. So if you are unable to get Sabatier in rhythm, especially a player who's just coming back like her, kind of shake some of that rust off, then you could see some troubles early. But at the same time, though, I think it's a team that knows how to bounce back from adversity. They're amazing in 5-set matches this year. I believe 8-1 in those matches so far. And I'm not saying this match is going to go to 5 sets by any means, but they really need to fix off the slow start.
Speaking of RIT on the other end, they've won 7 consecutive games. They haven't lost since October 15th against WPI. They've only dropped 3 sets in those 7 wins. So they're hot. And Ithaca is too. Again, a 22-4 season. Nothing to play off, but you can really say that both these teams are just on a major high right now. RIT a little more so.
Confidence is confidence. I don't care who it's against.
Quite the service run here for Liv Bernard. Good dig by Gaskill. Long set. Darko from Miller. No chance for Bernard in the back left. Much needed point for IC out of the timeout.
And you notice something we haven't seen too much throughout the year as Weifler will come on in the back row, Montgomery in the front row. Darko took some swings on the outside in warm-ups. Took one right there. Actually hit off her wrist, but still a fortunate bounce.
Amanda's Weifler in the game. The only kryptonite to her game has been her errors. There's over 20 more errors than aces. The swing that time from Samantha Cox into the game gives RIT their 10th point. They continue to double Ithaca's point total.
Peyton Miller's such a great setter, but does have a little bit of a disadvantage on the net when she tries to block, only 5-6.
Vento, the middle blocker on serve. Nice diving dig. Costa set for Darko. She's got a couple of kills in the last few points. Ithaca back within 4.
Darko's going to head to the back row right now, so she's going to likely come on out soon. But if you're Peyton Miller, you got to keep feeding Darko in the middle, and I'd keep going back to Koopman as well.
10 aces to 26 errors for Darko. Blixt almost lost it on an ace. Isaacson there. Miller long set. Montgomery into the game. She's got the kill.
Fantastic read there by Peyton Miller. All of RIT's blockers were easily cheating in toward Koopman. That gave Montgomery all day long to put that ball away.
Haley Blixt had no chance there. Blix on serve, received that time. Long set, Neff, into the net it goes. I think that ball, Dane, intended for Gasper. Cox had to come retrieve it, and she sends it into the net short.
Simple timing issue, but RIT has to be careful. Once Ithaca gets back in it and ties it up, look out.
Bombers back within 3. Darko, her second consecutive serve. On receive is Bernard. Long set, Neff. For Cox, there is Isaacson. Bump set, Montgomery. Free ball, Isaacson with a couple of hands. Neff. For Meslin that time. Miller responds for Montgomery, and Blixt in perfect position. Gasper on the tap. Montgomery there. Miller back set. Koopman off the hand of Blixt and out of bounds. The Bombers finding some momentum for the first time tonight.
More of a stable back row. Grace Isaacson keeps her feet down the line, makes a nice dig, keeps that rally going. That was the key to that Ithaca point.
10-9, Bombers back within 1. Darko again on serve, a line drive, overpass off the hand of Montgomery. Isaacson will give it right back to her. Good save by Bernard that time. Samantha Cox blocked by Koopman, but out of bounds. RIT able to break up the run. Corey Beal back in for the Tigers. She'll come get Amelia Mislin. But Ithaca, despite losing that last point, over the last run, just oozing with more confidence on their swings. Corey Beal on serve there. Long one for Montgomery. Neff for Gasper. Isaacson caught flat-footed. There's a couple of straight Tiger points.
Not even sure if Isaacson was caught flat-footed. I think Koopman saw the middle one way, and then she moved the other on a quick back one, and that left Isaacson in a really tough spot.
Isaacson bumps Miller. Montgomery another attempt. She went cross court and got the kill. Emphatic start for Alex Montgomery. She's got a trio of kills early on. It's 12-10. Miller now will serve for the first time all night. Beal on receive. Jump ball in the middle, and Neff beats Koopman. A rare sight. 5'6" beating 6 foot. And RIT's played a very fundamentally sound set so far.
Well, Neff did the smart play. She knows she's not taller than Koopman, so she didn't go at her. She actually went toward the right side of the court where Peyton Miller was.
Long serve there. The dump by Miller finds the floor. Ithaca back within 2. Peyton Miller just 5'5", but her dump ability has been really good at times throughout this season.
That's a bad play by RIT's middle Gasper right there. She needs to let that ball go and trust her back row to get that. It was a pretty jump, but looked like a ball that the Tigers could get to.
Ithaca has just led at one point this set. It was 3-2. Near ace for Gaskill, saved by Neff. Long swing by Klein, out of bounds. An attack error. Ithaca back within 1.
Fundamentals right there by Costa. She moves her feet well. A good read all the way toward the far side of the court. Puts her foot on the line. Watches it go out. All of a sudden, the Bombers are within 1.
Gaskill, for a large part of the fall, had played in every set this season. Ithaca trying to even the score. And that is the first service error of the set and the match overall. Gives RIT a 2-point lead. Gaskill prior, just 42 service errors to her 42 aces. Her errors now take the lead in that ratio. Here's Blixt. Costa, high bump set for Chapeppo, and she left it short. Game the second time Ithaca's gotten back within 1, and RIT has responded with a pair of points.
Got to give credit to the Tigers. They're not going away, and Ithaca needs to cover better off that swing.
Blix, Miller, Sabatier, mistime block. Ithaca back within 2.
You said mistime block, and you were on the money there, Jeremy. That was not the best set. It was a little low. Sabatier's power won her that point right there.
Again, Sabatier's absence did affect the Bombers a tad bit, despite all their winning. Happy to have her back in the starting rotation. Long swing, Klein, Miller for Darko. No chance for Blist. Ithaca back within 1. Can we talk too much about how high Darko gets, or?
That was ridiculous.
Doesn't get repetitive. Costa on the serve. Ithaca trying to even it once again. And there it is, a kill from Vento. RIT always responds to when their lead shrinks down to 1. And Kat Vento gets back in the column.
Ithaca's not doing the best job of keeping track of RIT's middles right now.
Vento had a pair of blocks. That's her first registered kill. Costa on serve, received there. Miller, this will be a long swing for Faith Sabatier. Good retrieval by Klein. Long set Neff. Liv Bernard off the near chin of Peyton Miller. And both teams are really trading off 2-point runs. And Coach Dolfer will call his second timeout.
And that's probably the 4th or 5th time I've seen a set on the outside where the middle is unable to get over and completely close that block. And when that happens, the outside has time and space, right? They can go down the line like they did right there, or they can go cross court. You probably don't want to do that and try and attack Julia Costa because, I mean, she's one of the best liberos, if not the best libero in the Liberty League. But when you have a singular block, I don't care what team you play for, if you're playing college volleyball, you're usually going to have an opportunity to put that ball away. And that's what RIT's doing right now. They're not getting they're not getting really rattled. I mean, especially after that Aleka Darko kill, rather. That's a huge momentum type change in play in volleyball. And RIT comes right back. They lead by 3, 8 points away from a set victory.
Yeah, and it's been a similar narrative for RIT as well. Dane Libbenard leading the team in total attempts with 8. She has led the team in attempts in nearly every game this team has played. And I think it's been ready for it, but again, Tigers have just played an overpowering type of volleyball, so to speak.
Overpowering, I guess you could say, but at the same time, I mean, you almost feel like this is the type of set that Ithaca needs, because you don't want to come in, you have RIT play not their best, and Ithaca runs the floor with them, and they go into tomorrow against Clarkson, they have this type of set. But if they don't fix up, RIT can make a run of their own. They can be playing tomorrow.
We did talk about how in the middle, that's where RIT is the best, and Gasper and Vento have carried so far. Off the top of the tape, Darko stays patient. The swing from Chapeppo is received well by Klein. Here's Bernard, blocked by Darko, out of bounds. And off of Ithaca's timeout, it's RIT who gets the first point. They're back up by 4.
Much better black coverage there, but Darko's hands were completely pointed out of bounds instead of turned in.
Costa on receive. Miller for Darko again, and Aleka Darko makes Sydney Neff fall to the floor with that one. Do you want to see them go to her more often, or is it a narrative you can't push too much?
Go to Darko more often. I mean, she's your best hitter on the floor when her timing is right, and I don't think RIT can block her one-on-one too often.
She now leads the team with 3, make it 4 kills. Isaacson off the top of the tape. Neff for Vento. Isaacson in the perfect spot. Sabatier, way too strong. Did it get a tip? It did. Dane called it from the get-go, and Ithaca's back within 2, 18-16.
Wouldn't be surprised if Ithaca gets a point here to see a Tiger timeout.
Isaacson, one of the best servers on this team, 37 aces to 18 errors. Blix, snap, long set, Bernard, rejected by Darko. May have been left short. Nonetheless, the Bombers, for the 4th time, are back within 1.
RIT didn't get over the net, but that was likely a double touch there from Neff.
Ithaca's looked for the equalizer for quite a while. Can they get it here? Service ace for Grace Isaacson, and they do just that. Blix, the libero, did not get it off her hands the right way, and we're tied at 18. Timeout Jim Lotus, timeout Tigers. The narrative has changed in 4 points.
That's what Ithaca can do, right? You have a team that's as talented as them. They have such a quick strike ability, and you think it could be a momentum-changing play like a huge block or a huge kill like we saw a few points ago with Darko. But what about the service line? You mentioned how fantastic of a server Grace Isaacson has been this year, and really the one that she almost got an ace off the top of the tape. That actually benefited RIT because it slowed the ball down a little bit. When she attacks that back row, it's sometimes so tough to make a decision because it's a sinking float. So if they let it go, it can hit the back line, but at the same time, it may go out. So it's one of those tough balls to really return, and Isaacson's doing a great job of really attacking that 1-6 seam in the back row, and she's tied up the game really single-handedly here in the first set.
And would you say that Ithaca's defense has collapsed more on Liv Bernard? Again, 10 attempts. The next most on the team is Samantha Cox, a non-starter with 5. Is RIT telegraphing their offense a bit too much?
I don't think they're telegraphing. I just think the front row has become a little bit more locked down. Right, I think the back row had some struggles early, but Isaacson's held her ground a few times. Costa's moving her feet well. Gaskell's looked pretty good. It's closing the block a little bit and taking a lane away from an RIT hitter. If they only have one more lane and then say they need to go after Costa, it's likely not going to be a kill.
Ithaca has not led since their 3-2 lead. The very beginning of this set, they try to get their first lead since here, and Isaacson found the back line. 2 straight aces, 19-18.
What did I just say? It's so tough. You want to play it, and then you think it might be out, and then all of a sudden it's a sinking float that it hits the back line. That's the danger of letting that ball go.
It's been a rough couple of points for the libero. Blix has led in a couple of aces in a row. Another Isaacson serve. Blix gets to that one. Neff for Liv Bernard again. Off the deflection, Miller gets there. Bum set Costa. Sabatier just missed the back left corner. We're back tied at 19.
Tough play, but RIT, after really their worst run of the first set, this is where their resilience might show. They need to take this one.
I thought it might have clipped the corner, but again, hard to see from up here as Neff sends it. Diving stop, Costa, it's a service ace for Neff. Excuse me, diving service ace for Bernard, my apologies. And RIT's reclaimed the lead.
Needs to be better communication there between Miller and Sabatier and who's getting that second touch.
Another Bernard serve, long, Miller, good positioning. Isaacson's gonna be a near free ball for Sabatier off the shoulder of Bliss on an overpass. Costa, bump set, Sabatier power tip. Nice stop by Neff, but it goes near the scorer's table. We're tied at 20.
I think Ithaca got away with that one a little bit. It was a free ball, and Miller took the first touch. Isaacson, I think, needs to take that, where Miller can be in system and set the ball. That was just bad coverage on the tip. Decidedly a good decision, though, seeing how far back Neff was playing for Sabatier to tip.
Zweifler and Montgomery back in. They've been that reserve DS and outside. Montgomery on the bump. Miller dump. Great awareness by Miller to catch RIT off guard there, Dane, you'd have to say.
an interesting play there. Miller didn't seem like it was the cleanest dump, and Darko not the greatest timing on the block either. Nevertheless, Ithaca leads.
Just looked like a little bit RIT. That was the last thing they expected. Neff back set for Meslin. And RIT able to tie the score at 21. You have to credit the Tigers. Their large lead has been squandered, yet they're sticking close. They're not letting Ithaca pull away.
Pressure points, here we come.
Near ace, it is an ace. Off the net. You said usually those are easier to read, but Ithaca was played so far back, no one could get to that ball.
Tough play there for Isaacson. RIT 3 points away.
Vento on serve, Isaacson, long set Miller, Montgomery, great stop by Neff. Samantha Cox on the swing, Costa easy retrieval, Miller, Darko, left it short. She almost came at that ball a little awkwardly, and RIT's in the driver's seat.
No timeouts left for Ithaca, and you got to give that ball back to Montgomery. Miller's around the 10-foot line. Montgomery had the best look at that.
The serve from Vento, Zweifler in a good spot. Darko another attempt. Easy obtained there for Neff. Here's Samantha Cox. Great awareness by Zweifler to let that one go. And Ithaca gets a much needed point, 23-22.
Koopman back in the game, and I think the most important thing right now is Koopman getting over to that outside. They're likely going to try and attack Peyton Miller.
Nice line drive serve from Darko. Neff had to come get it. Cox. Zweifler collides with Darko. It's an overpass. Isaacson keeps it alive. Miller for Koopman. 23 all.
The best play right there was Isaacson. They knew they were going to go after the shorter blocker and Peyton Miller. A good dig right there, but Isaacson was right up close for that cover. Ties it at 23.
Another good serve from Darko. Blitzed. Neff. Here's Cox. Off the tip of Koopman. Looked a little frustrated with that one. It's set point RIT.
She knows her hands weren't turned in toward the court. An easy tool right there for the Tigers. And what a set and what a start would it be for them if they're able to get this point.
Corey Beal back in for Amelia Mislin. Costa, good bump. High one for Montgomery. And we got a violation on RIT. Dave, what you see?
RIT, their middle, I believe, Gasper actually got her wrist over and touched the net, which is why Ithaca got the point to tie it at 24. Such a costly play.
Big point here. Going to go into extra points, and it's a near ace for Miller. Cox cannot get there. The angle was too tough, and the Bombers have set point themselves. Timeout, RIT. This has been, it looked like, okay, let's go back to the beginning of this set. RIT pulls away with a 5-point lead. Ithaca comes all the way back. They burn both their timeouts fairly early. They face set point. They get the benefit of a net violation in the middle. And now RIT's got to take a timeout, and the Bombers are a point away from taking the 1-0 lead.
They are. But at the same time, you cannot tell me Johan Dolfer is pleased with his team's performance in this first set. At the same time, though, give credit to RIT. They played much better than a lot of people thought they would going into this game. They still have an opportunity to take this first set. I understand that the guy has their first set point here, but with how things have been going and how RIT has responded to many momentous points for Ithaca here at the start of the game, got to give, you would expect almost that they'd come back and get this one. So RIT, it's a matter of them being able to keep this up if they lose the first set. You've arguably played your best volleyball that you've almost played all year in this set, but can you keep that up into the second set and the third set especially? Can you keep your emotions up if you lose this first set?
Same unit for RIT. Here's Peyton Miller. Serve to the back corner. Beal, bump. Here's Samantha Cox. Too far. Ithaca somehow takes set one, 26-24. We're going to take a quick break here on the Bomber Athletics stream. We'll be right back for set two. Ithaca and RIT. Ithaca barely, by the skin of their teeth, takes set one, 26-24. And Dane, you mentioned at the end of that set, despite the win, Coach Topher probably not too pleased with the way that set unraveled. You also got to give credit to the Tigers, but it looked like a lot more the program they had last year that won the regular season championship than they did, going back to October when they got blanked. So RIT's definitely gotten better with their 7-game win streak, and Ithaca's kind of play more respectable volleyball, you think?
Yeah, RIT has gotten better, but you almost worry that they just woke up a sleeping giant and they might have missed their opportunity to take a huge first set. That was my key for them to get an upset win here in Ben Light Gymnasium tonight, was get out fast. That's exactly what they did, and they took advantage. Even though they hit .105 hitting percentage in the first set, Ithaca had how many blocks? 0 blocks that entire first set. That's what I said. The back row got better toward the middle of that first set, but it's the Koopmans, the Darkos, the Jenny Pitts up front that need to put those RIT hitters away, and if they do, it might not become a contest.
And talking about blocks, Vento had 2 at the very beginning of the set. Aside from that, Bernard just had 1 the rest of the way. So blocks have been scarce throughout this whole set for both teams, so to speak. We'll see if RIT can come out with that same fire. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ithaca, take a large lead with the way that set ended.
Yes, but at the same time, when we thought Ithaca is going to take a large lead, RIT struck back in the first. Should be an entertaining second set, Jeremy.
And the winner to face Clarkson tomorrow afternoon. Miller backs at Chapeppo. Nice dig by Beal. Koopman in front. And Sydney Neff, again, a very talented setter. Over 900 assists. She wins the battle in front of the net to give RIT the 1-0 lead.
I think she won the battle because Koopman and Sabatier both went for that. Probably should have been Sabatier's ball because it's on her strong right hand.
Gaskill, tough one. Sabatier, great placement. Precision swing there. It's 1-1. And Sabatier missed some time, but her impact has been valued to a high level in this match so far. Costa on serve. Neff back set for Gasper. A couple of deflections weren't enough for Ithaca to recover. It's 2-1 Tigers. Here's Blix on service duty. Gasco in a good position. Miller backs at Chapeppo. Much needed kill. Layla Chapeppo on her 9th attempt finally registers that second kill.
I hope she would. Liv Bernard didn't even go up to block, let her back row out to dry. An easy kill there for the freshman.
Two set 2. Neff to the top for Vento. Ithaca plays it well. Here's Sabatier, kept alive by RIT. Bernard off the chest of Costa. Miller, dump. Miller. It'll be a point. RIT almost kept it alive, but the free ball was sent out of bounds to the left.
I can't tell you how money that pass was from Julia Costa right there to Peyton Miller. It wasn't how much it was on target. It was the height of that ball as well.
Costa came in with 84 assists. There's a service ace. Grace Isaacson, that service ability is one of the best on the team. It's her 3rd ace of the match already.
She's attacking that seam right there in between the 1 and the 6 spot, really going after RIT's libero and Blixt.
And that one, with a few aces, comes in error. As a former player, Dane, you definitely know that.
Of course. And I got to give Ithaca credit. They, compared to the other team across the hill, they do a much better job of keeping serves on the court.
Wow. Yeah, Cornell has struggled with their serves throughout the course of this season. Long Miller for Sabatier. Neff. Bump set Blixt. Bernard could not come up with it. It's 4-4. Neff on service duty now. Isaacson lunges down to get it. Overpass. Miller keeps it alive. Costa, another bump set. Sabatier power tip. Nice stop. That time by Jessica Klein. Gaskill, another athletic play on her end. Darko That had to have been a violation of some sort. It looked like she'd almost palmed the ball.
Exactly, Jeremy. So what she did, she carried the ball back. So she has to do, she actually hit it. She let it carry it back almost and like pushed it forward. There's a difference between a power tip and a carry.
Miller, Sabatier, nice rejection by Vento. Ball still in play. Neff from Mislin, and RIT has established a lead of their own at 6-4.
There's that instinct when you get blocked and it comes right back at you to touch it. But look how well Ithaca's defense was ready to cover that block. Sabatier needs to trust her defense behind her.
Isaacson on serve receive. Miller, Sabatier. It's split the two players on the block, both Vento and Bernard, and Sabatier finds herself with a kill.
And you know who? I feel like she got that kill because she didn't really jump high off the ground. So RIT's blockers, even though the block was closed, were coming down instead of on their way up.
How important is it to, change the way you swing the ball on it if you're an outside?
I'll get to that question right after this point, my friend.
And Bernard, another great play on the block. I believe it's 7-5 now, RIT.
Change things up, and you're a baseball guy, Jeremy. It's almost like, think of Nestor Cortez, almost like changing his arm angles. It's kind of the same thing in volleyball. If you change up your arm angle a little bit, because if you're a blocker, you're going to line up. Originally, if you're that right side blocker with an outside, you're going to line up with that hitter's hitting shoulder, right? So if you can go down the line, and speaking of that, a wonderful kill right there by Darko. If you can go down the line or go cross court and kind of switch up your angle and maybe spin the ball a little bit more, that'll make you that much more effective. Ithaca within one.
Then you could call me a baseball guy, but I was far from athletic whatsoever. And I think that was an inadvertent service ace from Darko. I mean, barely got over the net and barely crossed the 10-foot line. An ace is an ace. 7-7 your score in set two. Neff, Vento, nice rejection by Koopman. Samantha Cox tried to find open space in a gap. Miller, Koopman had it blocked again. Samantha Cox fired up after that one.
So Miller, the problem with that, she had two blockers right there for Koopman and one kind of isolated toward the outside. The middle was really cheating toward Jamie Koopman right there, which actually allowed a double block on the middle when usually Koopman's usually to hitting one-on-one. Point to RIT.
Lots of emotion from Cox after that block. Miller for Koopman, trying to get on the board, and Neff says no to that. Mislin on the swing. Isaacson there. Miller, long one. Montgomery. And another great play by Amelia Mislin. The block starting to come to fruition for RIT as they've established themselves a 2-point lead.
Their middle's reading Peyton Miller very well. They're reading her shoulders, which is allowing them to get out quickly and close the block.
Zweifler on serve receive. Koopman, there she is on the board. Koopman with her third kill of the match. And you mentioned how RIT's been reading Peyton Miller. Is there a point where you say, you know what, let me change it up. Let's go to the first-year Maddie Cox, who was such an instrumental part of the way the Bombers started the season. Miller's been on a hot streak, but if RIT reads her a lot, do you make that change? Miller, Geppetto, too far, cross-court, RIT back up two.
Coach Dolfer sees a lot more than both of us, without a doubt. Cox definitely gives you more of an advantage in the front row at blocking, but at the same time, Peyton Miller's chemistry, I think, is a little bit better with some of the hitters on the court right now. But she's also shown the ability to bounce back. So, as of right now, I would not make the switch.
Corey Beal on serve. Geppetto. Beal there again, battle at the net. Neff skies one to keep it alive. Cox, blocked Geppetto, kept alive again by RIT. Free ball from Cox. Costa, Miller for Montgomery off a tip. Blix is there again. Gasper, Miller in a good spot. Long rally here. Geppetto on the swing. Off one hand by Bernard, battle in front. Miller again. Back set, Costa for Montgomery. Koopman skies it again. Here's Montgomery, off the chest of Blixt. Samantha Cox out of bounds, and Ithaca wins the longest rally we've had all night.
Ithaca wins the point, but I'm most impressed with RIT on that rally, Jeremy. They're flying around going for everything. And if they want a shot at winning this match against this powerful of an offense, that's exactly what you have to do. And that's why they led for most of the first set, and they're up here in the second set too.
I will say, there was a spot earlier where I think Liv Bernard should have let a ball go. Nonetheless, the result is the same. Ball is sent out. Attack error RIT, and Ithaca's even the score at 10.
Some of those little things, right? You cannot have those unforced errors. If you do, Ithaca will eat you alive.
Gaskill, Corey Beal, about as awkward a play as you can have. It's an ace.
It's similar to Isaacson's serve, where it's kind of around your waist. You're trying to decide, should I pass it with my arm? Should I pass it with my hands? Beal makes the wrong decision on that play.
You saw that when Ashley Courier would come in for Clarkson, she was very good at serving to the waist. They'll have to face her, the winner of this one tomorrow. A block by Callista Gasper off Chapeppo's attempt. Ithaca's gone to Layla Chapeppo quite a bit. That's her 12th attempt, but just a couple of kills to show for it. 2 at exactly that, and a lot of it is the middles getting blocks at the right time.
That was a high back set. Even though the middle wasn't there first, the height of the set allowed the middle to get there.
Klein, Koopman, Miller, back set, Chapeppo, underhand tip. That's unconventional, but it gets the job done. I've never seen that throughout this entire season, an underhand loft of the
I'm not
net.
sure what that was, Jeremy, to be quite honest.
And the first Ithaca service error, Julia Costa sends one well short. It's Julia Costa's birthday today, not the way she wanted to celebrate it on that point, but
She's doing a nice job, though. Both her and Gaskill have actually been exceptional because they're playing a 2-woman back row right now off the service heap, and speak right on cue right there, Jeremy, and the kill.
Darko, again, when you look at the RIT roster profile, Haley Blix is listed as a defensive specialist / outside hitter. Obviously, she's played libero for this team, but she struggled with a lot of balls in the back today.
Sometimes you have those type of games when you have effective serves, especially like Isaacson attacking you. It can really become mental.
Neff. Gasper, or excuse me, that was Vento colliding with her setter there. Another service ace for Isaacson, Dane.
Yeah, and I think Vento, she meant to go behind Sydney Neff, but Neff set it right above her head, so there was nowhere to go.
Where Isaacson served, Blix almost collided with her teammate in the back, but it gets the job done regardless. RIT back within 1. You really have to commend the way the Tigers have played. Again, they were never able to beat the William Smiths, the Clarksons, or the Ithacas throughout the regular season, but they played Ithaca point for point so far tonight. Isaacson, awkward bump. Gaskill right there, though. Sabatier back in. Neff will send one for Bernard. Darko off the block, almost creates a point. Great job by Klein to get there. And then Vento just doing her job in the middle. RIT's evened it back up.
And because Darko was blocking one way, and then Bernard had one-on-one against Miller on the outside, Miller took the line. Bernard, that was too easy of a cross-court kill.
Isaacson, high serve received. Darko back on it. You talked about going to Darko more. They finally find her there. Blix had no shot at that one.
You can talk so much about Darko's vertical, but notice how high her arm swing was there. When her arm swing's that high, it makes it that much more difficult for a defender to actually block that.
Zweifler, service error again. That has been, the kryptonite of her game as a first year. She's been a very great rotational defensive specialist, but coming in, Dane, 20 aces to 40 errors.
Not the result you want, but her defense does make up for it.
And one of multiple first years who get prominent playing time. Darko, cross court, good retrieval by Neff. High bump from Bliss, but into the net goes Liv Bernard. One of those rare occurrences where she leaves one short. Ithaca back up 1. RIT cleaning up a wet spot on their end. Again, would you say Ithaca's still as uncomfortable as they seemed in that first set? Because the point margin is very similar to what it was in the back.
No, I don't think. I think they're a little bit more comfortable in this set because they got their feet under them. Their passing is much better in the back row, but RIT's blocking has really stood out. They've been better in that area.
Backside awkward one from Misslin. Isaacson off the chest and out of bounds. Amelia Mislin getting involved.
Yeah, what I just mentioned, right? The blocking. That was a backslide right there for RIT, and the middle, in between the middle and the outside, nothing was closed, allowed for an easy kill.
Vento, a middle serve. Montgomery, the block lands on the line. Callista Gasper, who really did not make her mark on the stat sheet when these two teams played in October, has done a lot of good for the Tigers in this one. Another Vento serve. Zweifler, high bump, long set Miller. Montgomery took something off of it. I don't know if it was intentional, but it ties it up at 17.
That was absolutely intentional by Montgomery, and I think Ithaca, it would really benefit them if they had some quicker runs, whether it was in the middle, maybe a backslide, because part of the reason why I feel like RIT is so successful on blocking in the front row in the second set is because of the height of those sets, right? It gives that middle time for really that three-way footwork, right? That 1, 2, 3, they go up. It allows for easier timing, especially because that's what you do in practice, right? Your middle's going to get to that outside foot of your right side or your outside, stick to it and close that block, and the higher the set, the more time they have.
Gasper, Costa almost kept it alive. Callista Gasper, she had an expression of shock on her face with the way that went. Gasper's a grad student at RIT, Dane. She's been an instrumental part of this program for years, also a 4-time Dean's List honoree. So, definitely a well-known athlete in this Tigers program.
RIT's, people forget, a lot of these schools in the Liberty League are fantastic academic institutions.
Vassar, one of them as well. They were in the beginning of this Liberty League tournament.
Over there, I mean, Clarkson has a wonderful engineering program. Skidmore is another very hard school to get into, but we'll stick to the volleyball here.
Beal on the serve. Costa, long set Miller. Montgomery, easy obtain for Bernard that time. High set for Cox, and miscommunication on the Bomber end. That's a lot of what we saw at the beginning of set one. RIT looking to pull away here, 19-17.
A rare error there by Julia Costa, but I like the decision here from Johan Dolfer, trusting his team, saying, hey, side out, go get this point for me. 7
digs for Costa so far in this one. Miller, high set, Jamie Koopman. Blix was in the perfect spot. Cox, Chapepo on the block. Somehow kept alive by RIT. Overhand stop, Costa, back set, Chapepo. Emphatic kill that time. Bombers back within one game. The stand starting to fill up a little bit as well.
When Ithaca's in system, RIT, when they're sprawling all over the place, they're getting to those balls and they're going to say, hey, Ithaca, we're going to force you to make a mistake. They didn't there. Chapepo puts it away.
Gaskill on serve. Beal near ace. Gasper will send over a free ball, but it goes way to the right out of bounds. And that's 2 straight Bomber points to tie the score.
Most important thing here for Gaskill right now, you have all the momentum. You could get to the 20s first. Keep this ball in the court.
Just a couple of errors for the Bombers so far tonight. Gaskill and Dane, I think she might have heard you.
And you know why I said that is because you go on a 2-0 run, you get a little bit of momentum back, you start to feel the swing, you get a little nerves, you get a little excited. I've seen that too many times with that type of score where a run ends like that.
It's the worst time to have your error if you're going to have any at all. Klein on serve. Miller, back set, Chapepo.
Not a good one.
Soft tap by Gaspers, responded well too. RIT, miscommunication on their end into the scorer's table. 20-20. And if Ithaca takes this set, Dane, is it going to be really too deflating for RIT to come back to, again, losing the lead at the end of set one and then very similar result in set two?
I think that's something we can talk about after the second set because I think it's too tight to talk about as of right now.
So what if? As Costa sends it over.
I'm just messing with you, bud.
Neff and Bernard mistimed her jump. The set wasn't great either. And the Bombers take a 21-20 lead. Timeout, Coach Lotus. As Ithaca has their first lead in a little bit here late. What's the key talking point in this timeout?
RIT, don't beat yourself, right? When it was 20-19 after Gaskill's missed serve, RIT was winning 20-19. Blixt off the roll from Sabatier. That's one that she could have gotten back, went right off her fist, made it too tough of a set for Neff to get to, and then it was just a blown swing on the outside right there. It gives Ithaca a 21-20 lead. So even, like I said, even if Ithaca is rolling offensively, RIT's done a good job really sprawling all over the place and getting, even if they're sending free balls back over the net, they're keeping the play alive, right? They cannot beat themselves. If they do, it's just going to build up Ithaca's confidence more and more. Then you can start to see a much more lopsided third set. Nevertheless, though, I remember the timeout when Ithaca got up 25-24 in the first set. Now they're up 21-20. I would not be surprised at all to see RPI run off a couple of, or not RPI, RIT rather, run off a couple of points here after this timeout.
Some stat leaders as we wait for the break to expire. 7 kills for Ithaca. Darko leads the Bombers. Alex Montgomery and Layla Chapeppo have 4 apiece for RIT. Liv Bernard, per usual, leads her team in kills with 7. Samantha Cox has 5. Amelia Mislin and Callista Gasper have 3 apiece. 3 blocks for Kat Vento, another notable stat. 7 digs for Costa, 5 for Isaacson. Still no blocks for Ithaca. That's remained the same. Line drive serve. Bernard off the Chapeppo tip. Gaskill comes to get it. Darko, almost north-south like. A nice diving stop by Costa again. Sabatier off the hands of Corey Beal. That's a big Ithaca point out of RIT's timeout.
I don't think I've seen Faith Sabatier that in rhythm in this game. She's had so many swings around the 10-foot line. She gets all that momentum rolling forward in toward the ball. It's 22-20.
Neff, high one, Gasper. And Darko couldn't get the proper timing on the block. Ithaca's point shrinked down to 1.
If I could picture it for our viewers here, Darko was there. She closed the block, right? Her hands are up. They're there. She just didn't push them over the net. Allows the point to go to the Tigers.
22-21 Bombers. Costa might have gone out. Miller, Chapeppo off the block. I believe a net violation on RIT.
Unforced error. That's all I got to say, because even sometimes if you know you can't block an opponent if you're late, sometimes you'll turn your hands back like this so it'll go off the block and pop up into the air, giving time for your back row to go get it. That's exactly what happened there, but I think the middle blocker right there was just a little bit too overzealous.
Ithaca 2 points away from taking a 2-0 set lead, which really wouldn't resemble how close this game has been. Isaacson, line drive, Bliss, good recovery. Bernard, caught by DJ Washburn for an RIT point.
If Ithaca's able to win this set and win the third, you got to be somewhat a little bit concerned about the lack of blocking so far today. And it's not like they can't. We've seen them have a number of better performances.
Costa on serve receive. Miller long set for Darko. Bliss, good dig. Here's Bernard. Gaskill there. Skies it. Miller. Darko. North-south again. Set point Bombers.
Darko, as Travis Scott's song goes, highest in the room. It's exactly where Darko was right there on that kill.
Interesting note. Jenny Pitts, who plays a lot of middle blocker, not playing so far tonight. Neither is Cam O'Leary, the senior outside hitter, who led the team in kills throughout the end of the regular season. Bernard, much needed point off of Miller's hands. RIT needs one more, but that's a good start.
Bernard's shoulders were cross court. Her arm swing absolutely ripped down the line. Not much Isaacson could do. It didn't look like one of the better swings of the night, but it absolutely was.
Set 1 was 24-24. RIT trying to make it 2 sets consecutively. Isaacson, the bump. Awkward set Miller. It's got to be an easy tap for Montgomery for Bliss to retrieve. Here's Cox off the tip of Darko, and it is going to be a 24-24 set 2.
RIT fights. They don't give in. Right, they want this just as much as the Bombers. The Bombers, they're ranked number 1 in Region 2 right now, but RIT, they know if they lose, their season's done.
Isaacson on serve receive. Here's Montgomery. Better swing. Overpass. Good reaction by Isaacson. Montgomery again for the corner. And that's a much needed bomber point as Sidney Neff came all the way towards the booth here. And Ithaca will have another chance to win it with a point victory.
I'm going to say it again. You need to keep this one in the court. Make RIT make a play because RIT's been doing that to Ithaca.
Darko ensures that it finds the floor. And the swing out of bounds by Cox. And for the second straight set, Ithaca takes it 26-24.
When it came down to it, RIT could not execute in those last few points. And Ithaca was able to take the sets 26-24.
Ithaca a set away from advancing to the Liberty League final. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. Ithaca 2, RIT nothing. It's been a pair of 26-24 wins that has propelled Ithaca to being one set away from advancing to the Liberty League championship game tomorrow afternoon against Clarkson. Welcome back, everybody. Alongside Dane Richardson, I'm Jeremy Goldstein. How frustrated is RIT right now? They have played one of their better games of the season, but have barely come up short on a pair of sets.
They played one of their better games of the season for 24 points. Not for 25. And that's the big difference, right? It comes down to you got to play all 25, and Ithaca was able to close out those sets. RIT's had a few more reception errors, 5-3. RIT leading in that stat, but at the same time, I understand you're probably frustrated. You're one set away from your season being over, but you cannot play that way. You cannot let your emotions get the best of you. If you're going to make a big-time comeback, you got to keep your head on straight and believe you can actually come back. And if they play the way that they did in the first two sets, you could easily flip the other way, Jeremy.
Gaskill starts off on serve, and no one came to receive the set from Neff. And for the first time, Ithaca takes the first point of a set, 1-0.
If you're Ithaca, you want to get out to a hot start. Don't even give RIT a look.
Long set, Gaskill. Bad awareness from Klein. She let it go. 2-0 after the ace.
Reminds me of Tim Wakefield and R.A. Dickey. That was a straight-up knuckleball right there for the ace.
The Gaskill serve. Neff for Bernard. Off the tip of Chapeppo. Will be a free ball from Blist. Costa Miller. Chapeppo! You mentioned not giving RIT a look.
RIT needs to be careful. This is the best we've seen Ithaca all match long. They're in system. They look ready to go.
This is their largest lead at any point tonight.
That's insane.
3-0 Bombers in set 3. Gaskill near ace, pancaked off the floor by Klein. Bernard power tip. Sabatier there. Miller, Koopman. Good reaction by Gasper. Now another set for Bernard. Brock Chapeppo out of bounds. Much needed Tiger point. It's 3-1.
Even when they get down by 3, would not be surprised to see as we get into the teens, it's still going to be a close set considering how this game has gone.
Blix. Gaskill dumped by Peyton Miller. No one came to get it. Then I talked to this about Jaden Becker. Jaden Becker, by the way, that's his favorite volleyball play. Our colleague who's...
I think it's one of the only volleyball plays he knows.
Interesting point. Nonetheless, Peyton Miller's been so good with those dumps. She always does it at the right time, it seems.
Caught him sleeping.
Bernard off Darko's tip. Another swing, Bernard. Costa, one of her best digs of the evening. Sabatier sent it way too far, but Jessica Klein touched the ball, and it's 5-1.
Jeremy, the reason why I think she touched the ball, it hit off the top of the block first, so Klein did have to go after that. You could lie about it, sometimes it works out, but I think it gets the point.
The swing by Kat Vento, and Vento finally getting back on the board. RIT back within 2. Who's the player you want to see get going for RIT? Because we said it, Liv Bernard's name an infinity amount of times, but you feel like there's got to be another source of offense on this team that needs to step up.
It's got to be Vento or Gasper. Listen, Ithaca one-on-one in the middle has not been great blocking early on. They haven't been good at stopping players like Aleka Darko, and that's the second time that Peyton Miller dump, and then that play right there where it goes off the hands of Vento, where RIT's defense is really just caught sleeping and ball watching as the ball hits the floor.
Is that a case of RIT's back not being awake in that case?
Well, you're playing so far back because you're trying to get ready for Aleka Darko hitting at 100 miles an hour at you, but you also need to have your feet forward. And I mentioned Vento needs to get going right on the money there.
And Sydney Neff, who came into this one again with 948 assists, put it on a platter for her. It is absolutely instrumental. I'm sure you can agree that RIT stays within reach here in the early going. Bernard on serve, Costa, Miller, Darko off the chest of Blist.
And she's not going to get a kill for it either. I think it's going to be a net violation there on RIT, but I mean, you're just protecting your life right there in front of your eyes. And Aleka Darko hits it right there without a block.
I've seen so many defensive specialists, and even liberos, be afraid of Darko's swing.
Well, I don't think it's afraid. I think they're just protecting their face a little bit because there's not much they can do.
That sounds like fear to me. Blist, bump set for Cox. Darko on the block.
It's about time, right? I mean, Darko turns her hands in. She has the footwork. She covers cross court. Outside shoulders are that way, and she takes care of business.
That's the first Ithaca block. Zweifler serve. Blist and Bernard nearly collide. Back set for Mislin, and it stood no chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see an RIT timeout and right on cue, my friend.
Jim Lotus not even standing out of his seat right now.
I don't think he stood out of his seat yet, but nevertheless, still 9-3 Ithaca, Jeremy. And at the same time, if you're Ithaca, I said when they were up 3-0, you want to put them away now.
You have to think, though, again, very gritty first couple of sets. Ithaca's probably feeling a lot more comfortable with themselves in set 3, a 6-point advantage. They got the 2-set cushion. They can let loose a little more, which I think has resulted in a lot of their success in their 22-4 regular season.
Yeah, they can let loose a little bit more, but even if they do finish off the set, which presumably they do, they're up 9-3. It would take a major collapse to push it to the 4th set. And if it does go to a 4th, big momentum advantage toward RIT. But they cannot play like this in the first 2 sets than they did against Clarkson. And we weren't there up in the North Country when they took care of business against the Golden Knights. They swept them. So we know what this team is capable of. And I said in the beginning of the match, you'd rather get out the rust here and get away with it then lose a couple of sets against Clarkson. Because remember, every single year the Bombers have been in the Liberty League tournament, they've been knocked out by Clarkson, right? They've been that arch nemesis. And it looks like tomorrow they're going to get another chance to break that spell.
Again, Coach Johan Dolfer coached there for pretty much a decade.
Looking for their first Liberty League title.
Clarkson, on the other hand, they didn't have it so easy themselves. We'll get to that after the point. As Gasper, good stop by Costa. Montgomery, bad ball, but Isaacson with a miraculous free ball. And RIT touched the net.
It's just a bad free ball pass. You cannot make your setter make a play like that. And Sydney Neff, she's looking at her back row at Samantha Cox saying, hey, I'm not happy. That's a free ball. You need to give it to me right on the money. And she had to go right into the net. Not a pretty play.
But back to Clarkson. They played Union today in the regular season in their sweep against the Dutch women. It's a near bomber point. Costa keeps it alive. They don't want me to tell this story. Montgomery for Blixt. Here's Cox. Attack error, Ithaca up 11-3. But in the regular season, Clarkson didn't allow more than 13 points in a set against Union. It was 25-19, 25-20, 25-20. Union hung with them very nicely. So I guess the Liberty League tournament, much different animal than the regular season. Seasons are on the line as a whole. Cox, Miller, got the block, or was that a net violation?
Did not even get over the net. When she swung it, hit the top of the tape and just bounced back over. So the ball didn't even go over the net. There's no touch. So technically, that's a 4-touch violation there in RIT.
I appreciate your sight there. 4 women crashing the net at once. Lots of commotion. 12-3 Bomber lead. The narrative has changed entirely. Darko, put back dunk style. 13-3 after another kill from her.
You always need to be so careful because Darko did have a violation where she reached over a little bit, and there's that fine line, almost like basket interference if you're a basketball fan at home, that you need to be careful of, but Darko makes the right play.
And she struggled with net violations at the beginning of the season as RIT gets back within 9 there. But you have to credit, like she's worked hard to make that correction. Again, she had a rough Bomber Invitational, countless net violations in that weekend. That was on the opening weekend of the season, but now it's almost like it's a rarity for her. Costa high, bumps at Montgomery, flat-footed swing. Neff back for Mislin, and it went off a fingertip in the front. Couple straight points for RIT. They're back with an 8.
Couple straight points for Ithaca's back row. I don't want to say a little bit lazy, but they need to move their feet a little bit better like they did in the middle of that first set and all of the second set.
Costa on the dig. Miller dump. Miraculous save. A double touch called on Jessica Klein. 14-5.
That's created by Peyton Miller, right? A sprawling dig makes it really tough for Sydney Neff, and I mentioned that back row needed to be better. Julia Costa, pristine pass there.
You mentioned Vento and Gasper have to get involved. It's a big-time kill for Gasper there. But they're going to need more. It's an 8-point deficit for RIT. Time running out, and you can even say time running out in their season.
A beautiful swing by Gasper there, and RIT's done that a little bit better. Those quick swings in the middle, that timing right there has actually been a little bit more on cue than the Bombers so far tonight.
Zweifler on serve receive. Long Miller set for Montgomery. Blist in the perfect spot. Almost fell on the floor. Miller, Jamie Koopman off the top of the net. Easy retrieval for the Tigers. Off the chest of Klein, Jamie Koopman creates a point. It's 15-6.
The bench with the roof celebration may have gone out. And now it becomes real tricky, especially with a team with this much confidence.
Miller near ace, pancaked off by Blist. And Jamie Koopman, again, it's a 10-point Bomber lead. This is the Ithaca team we've seen through the 26-game regular season. And it's coming to fruition at the best time. RIT will call their second time out of the set in desperation mode. Is there anything to correct that can really save the set right now?
No. Straight up, no. I mean, you get an Ithaca team that's played the best they have all set, and I'd be very interested to see if RIT can prove me wrong. But when you get this team with this much confidence, and even though RIT's played exceptional, especially in the first 2 sets, they haven't shown me they can ring off 10, 11, 12 straight points or win 12 to 15 points to get themselves back into this set without having enough unforced errors. I'm not talking about at the service line, but I'm talking about falling asleep on defense, hitting the ball out of bounds, and like I said, to go on with that, Ithaca's offense looks a little bit more in system, right? Who are you going to bet on right now? RIT's back row or arguably the Liberty League Libero of the Year, Julia Costa, and two of the better DSs in the conference is Weifler, Isaacson, and three of them actually in Gaskell.
Tell me if you've seen this before. You can't see it on your screen. The Bomber sideline is eating candy on the sideline right now. Gummy worms, Starburst Chewies. I've never seen that in a sporting event.
They're eating them? Well, honestly, good for them. I mean, I think it's Halloween. Coach Stolper probably had some extra candy at home. And right now, they're 9 points away from going to the Liberty League final at home. Why else would you? Actually, I'm going to ask you, favorite Starburst flavor? Go.
Red or pink.
I'll go with pink. That's not a bad answer.
That Peyton Miller serve barely got the net. Again, back to the sideline, I see some Trolley Gummy Worms and the Starburst Chewies. Those are the two snacks of choice. 16-7 on the board, though. The Bombers trying to, again, advance to that all-important match against
Jeremy,
Clarkson.
you're definitely going to go to the store and get some after this.
Not on my agenda. Montgomery off the tip, found the line. Great utilization of that left sideline. Ithaca reclaims their 10-point lead.
People forget Alex Montgomery. We talk so much about Aleka Darko's vertical. Notice how high Alex Montgomery got up right there. You get her in rhythm, she's a tough hitter to block.
Just 6 kills for her again. It's a solid amount. And there's a reason why we do talk about Aleka Darko a lot. 13 kills of her own. There's Callista Gasper getting involved.
Koopman's late a little bit. Just a little bit late. And that timing right there with Neff has just been impeccable a couple times, and there's nothing Ithaca's back row can do about that. The reaction time would have to be light speed.
Nice stop by Gaskill. Awkward set by Miller. Sabatier got the least part of the line you could get.
I think the ball actually changed directions a little bit and actually clipped the back line as well, and Costa back to serve.
Back set, Vento, Darko and Sabatier combine on the block, and a violation called on the Tigers. Ithaca, they're set to lose. They got a 19-8 set 3 advantage.
A little bit of a carry there. Now if you're RIT, you might want to start thinking about getting your seniors in the game.
A service error by Costa. A bit, service errors both by Costa and Miller that you really don't see too often. Again, really no harm, no foul here. It's still a double-digit Bomber lead. Gasco on the bump. Miller, Chepepo. Great positioning there. And it lands out of bounds from Neff. Really good job by Layla Chepepo to let that ball go. Obviously, it's so high up there, easy to want to go up and make a play on it.
Yeah, I think she would have been bailed out regardless because the ball went outside the antenna just a little bit. But you're right, Jeremy, you want to put that foot on the line. If it's in line with that outside leg, and you want to go after it. If it's not, let it go.
Awkward stop by Blist. Here's Miller, back set, Darko. Came around on the swing, but RIT was ready for it. Costa, Sabatier. Thought it might have gotten a tip, but it lands out of bounds, 20-10.
I love that from Ithaca, and maybe they might be saving a little bit more of that backslide action for tomorrow, just a little bit. But I like the try on that run there to Darko.
Bernard. Costa easily makes a play. Long set by Miller for Sabatier off the face of Neff. Insult to injury as the Bombers go up 11.
You play tip and faith makes you pay. 21-10 Bombers. They're 4 points away.
Sabatier now in double-digit kills. The second Bomber to do so. She still trails Darko's 13. Oh, near overpass. Here's Vento. Where was that all set? Kat Vento has been a very reliable middle when she's been in there. Good precision on that swing.
It all comes down to that pass, right? If they pass it right on target, they can get a good run in the middle, and RIT's able to put the ball away.
Miller, Darko, nice reaction time from Vento. Miller, Darko again, another good reaction. That was by Gasper. Montgomery off the tip, creates the kill. Alex Montgomery, kill number 7 3 Bomber points is all it takes for a trip to the Liberty League Final for the first time since 2019.
That's what Darko's going to get, though, on those plays. So much attention is going to be paid to her due to her recent success, so you got to feed some of those other hitters on the outside on the right side.
Off a near block. And Mislin helps create an RIT point. Again, we mentioned how they haven't been to the finals since 2019. They lose to Clarkson in Potsdam in that one in 5 sets. And the 5th set ended 20-18.
Now, Jeremy, I know you're looking at their schedule. Scroll down a little bit more. Look who they lost to in the Sweet 16. And look
Clarkson.
at the 5th set score there.
60, again, Clarkson
that was a tough one.
Miller, Montgomery, off the tip. The Bombers are 2 points away. Klein couldn't make a play. And you have to think, last week's win against Clarkson was satisfying, but it's the playoff win against the Golden Knights that'll really help the Bombers get a great night's sleep.
You want to do it on your home court, too, right? I mean,
a lot of these games have been in Potsdam. As Gasper creates the point, last year's loss to Clarkson Dane was an RIT because they hosted the tournament. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that was a Clarkson-St. Lawrence final round.
May have been. I think you're more of the expert there, Jeremy. But at the same time, you're hoping there's a pretty good crowd of students as it's now match point for the Bombers off a pretty swing there from Montgomery. It's a pretty good crowd of students for tomorrow, right? Because I know I'm going to be in Union seeing Ithaca football potentially win their first ever Liberty League championship, but Ithaca volleyball could win their first Liberty League championship tomorrow. Also, Ithaca women's soccer, a chance to win the Liberty League championship on Sunday. And Ithaca volleyball 1 point away.
For those waiting for tomorrow, I'll be there as well on the call. Near ace. It is an ace! The Ithaca Bombers to the Liberty League Final on a service ace by Ellie Gaskill to wrap it all up. 26-24, 26-24, 25-13. Ithaca and Clarkson will do battle again. It's almost a seasonal tradition, but again, both teams will clash for the chance to get an automatic NCAA tournament bid.
This is what Ithaca wants, right? They get the rival that they've always wanted to beat. They march their way into the Liberty League title game at home. They did what they're supposed to, particularly in the third and final set, but they have some things they need to clean up. If they play like they did against Clarkson in those first 2 sets, they could be in trouble a little bit. But at the same time, we've seen the Liberty League get better overall. You mentioned Union had a sneaky nice performance against Clarkson today. RIT played especially well in those first 2 sets. And Jeremy, I think you're in for a doozy tomorrow between the Golden Knights and the Bombers.
Should be exciting. Both teams swept their opponents today. Well, that'll do it for us on the Ithaca Bomber Athletic Stream. Alongside Dane Richardson, I'm Jeremy Goldstein. Join me tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the Liberty League Final between the Bombers and the Golden Knights. Like Dane said, should be a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.